When Daniel first brought it up, I laughed. Not a polite laugh, an outright dismissive one. Seriously? I said, shaking my head. You're jealous of Ethan? He's my best friend. We've known each other since college. You're being ridiculous. Daniel's jaw tightened, but he didn't argue. He just nodded slowly and went quiet. The kind of silence that tells you your words cut deeper than you intended. Later that night, I told my sister. Daniel's acting insecure. He thinks Ethan is some sort of threat. It's immature. She agreed, and that gave me the confidence to brush off his concerns completely. After all, Ethan had been there through every breakup, every awful job, even when Daniel and I first got together. He was the one person I could talk to without fear of being judged. But here's what I refused to see: how it all looked from the outside. Ethan texted me constantly, and I always replied immediately. Sometimes during dinner with Daniel, I'd laugh at something Ethan sent, leaving my husband staring at me from across the table. We had inside jokes, hugs that lingered, and conversations that shut down the second Daniel walked into the room. I kept calling it harmless, but deep down, I knew it wasn't as innocent as I wanted to believe. A few weeks later, Daniel tried again. "Sophie," he said quietly one night, "I need you to understand how this feels. It's like you're giving pieces of yourself to Ethan that should belong to us, to me." I rolled my eyes, irritated by the seriousness in his voice. "You're overreacting. He's just a friend. Stop trying to control who I talk to." That was when something in Daniel changed. I saw it in his eyes, a calm, final kind of resolve. But I was too wrapped up in feeling superior to recognize it. I thought I'd won. In reality, the real fight hadn't even started. Over the next month, Daniel shifted. Not with the explosive reactions I expected after our arguments, but in ways that were quiet and unsettling. He stopped asking where I was going when I left to meet Ethan. He stopped staying awake for me when I came home late. The man who used to notice every detail of my day now felt distant, almost cold. At first, I told myself this was progress. Finally, he wasn't obsessing. But instead of feeling relieved, I felt a strange hollowness settle in. His silence was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. Meanwhile, Ethan stayed the same, texting, calling, asking me to hang out. And part of me leaned into it even more, almost out of spite. If Daniel didn't care, then fine. I'd laugh louder, stay out later, share even more. But the deeper I sank into that friendship, the colder my home became. Dinners turned into silent meals where Daniel barely looked at me. Nights ended with him rolling to his side of the bed without a word. Then one Friday, I came home after being out with Ethan and found Daniel sitting in the living room with a suitcase next to him. My stomach dropped. "What are you doing?" I asked, trying and failing to keep my voice steady. He looked at me with no anger, no sadness, just indifference. "I can't do this anymore, Sophie," he said, calm and steady. "I told you how this made me feel, and you laughed at me. I'm not going to beg for respect in my own marriage." I froze. "Wait, you're leaving me over Ethan? Are you serious?" The words tumbled out, frantic. But Daniel didn't flinch. "It's not about Ethan," he said with a slow breath. "It's about you. You chose to make me an outsider in my own marriage, and I'm done." It felt like the ground disappeared beneath me. I'd always believed Daniel would never walk away, that no matter how far I pushed, he'd stay. But standing there with his suitcase, he looked like someone who'd already left long before tonight. I moved toward him, panic climbing up my throat. "Daniel, please don't do this. Ethan is just a friend. I was wrong to make fun of you. I didn't mean it." My voice cracked. All the confidence I once had completely gone. Daniel only shook his head. "You don't understand, Sophie. You didn't just mock me. You dismissed me. You dismissed how I felt like it meant nothing. You laughed while I was drowning." His words hit like stones, heavy, unavoidable. For the first time, I saw myself the way he must have seen me. The dinners where I rolled my eyes at his questions. The nights I brushed him off with sarcasm. The moments I chose Ethan's validation over my husband's trust. Suddenly, it wasn't about jealousy. It was about betrayal, emotional, quiet, and devastating. I grabbed his hand. "We can fix this. Please. I'll stop seeing Ethan. I'll do anything." Every word shook with desperation. But Daniel slipped his hand from mine gently, like he had already accepted his choice. "I gave you years, Sophie," he said softly. "I begged you to see me, but you never did. You only saw a jealous husband to laugh at. Now I finally see myself, and I see that I deserve better." With that, he picked up his suitcase and walked out. The silence that followed swallowed the room whole. I collapsed onto the couch, replaying every cruel laugh, every sarcastic comment, every moment I chose to make him feel small instead of safe. My phone lit up with a text from Ethan. But for the first time, I didn't care. His attention meant nothing compared to what I had just lost. I'd always believed Daniel would stay no matter what. But I was wrong. My mockery had carved a canyon between us. And when he finally crossed it, he didn't look back. That night, I finally realized, far too late, that the man I brushed off as jealous was the only one who ever truly loved me.